And we're live. Are we doing a hello, welcome?
I think we probably should.
You're Ruth, I'm Michelle.
She's Michelle, I'm Ruth. Hi, we're here.
I'm just telling the lovely people on Twitter
People are here.
that we are now here. Hello, people.
We're in two different worlds. Babe?
That was Netflix rather than me going insane. I was a little bit worried that I was going insane. What's up?
Just lots of buttons.
Right, I have said we are live. Be good enough. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
You're just fascinated by the buttons. What? By?
It's just new buttons, all new buttons.
We are new at this and we suck. That's what you're saying. So we're going to be doing 4 Fandom Fridays, but we are starting off just talking about fandom.
Yeah.
Which is quite exciting. Stop touching the buttons. Why are you touching the buttons?
I'm trying to make it big. It's just distracting him with all the blank space.
I don't think we go big.
Okay.
I don't know. We have no idea how any of this works, so I don't know. Do you just want to start talking about fandom?
Yeah.
Rather than touching buttons?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to start?
Okay. So we're doing 30 questions about fandom, just generally.
Mm-hmm.
What was your first fandom, Michelle?
My first fandom was Buffy. I ended up on the less cool of the 2 available German Buffy forums. The one that didn't get any of the information firsthand, didn't have any of the cool interviews, didn't have any of the cool promo photographs, and quite often ended up stealing that stuff from the cool one.
Yeah.
And then removing their watermark and slapping on their own watermark. And that was also my first experience of fandom wars, bad fandom behavior.
Mm-hmm. What platform is this on? Is this an actual genuine forum?
Oh, yeah, genuine forum.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe the cool one was Slayerboard, which, cool name. That was a cool one. Ours, I think, was literally just called the Buffy the Vampire Slayer forum, which is why it wasn't a cool one.
Yeah.
What was your first fandom?
I'm Potter. I was a baby Potterhead back in the day. I was a massive Buffy fan when it was live. Potter came first because Potter came first. But I wasn't online for Buffy at all because I had a number of actual real life friends who were into the Buffy the Vampire Slayer thing, and so I didn't feel the need to seek out an internet community. We were going to use mini mics and we're not using them.
That's true. That's true. We suck.
Never mind.
We're rubbish at this. This is
new. This is
next
new.
week. Come back.
We'll be all slick and
awesome.
Shiny. Yeah. Yes, Liz. Thank you. Message from Liz there. Real life friends.
I know. See,
who like Buffy. I know such a thing.
Yeah.
Is skeptical to say the least.
Also, please do let us know in the message section if the sound is horrendous, and we will go and get the microphones.
Or say other things. You can talk
other stuff,
about fun things, also not just boring. Sound stuff. Sound is fine. Good.
Okay. Did you say that's your first fandom? I think you wrote fic about something else before that.
Well,
We're airing it all out here.
I did. I was a little baby creative writing person, and I wrote about lots of things. And my favourite book for much of my life, still one of my favourite books, was his Dark Materials trilogy, and which ends, for anybody who hasn't read it, very tragically.
I was going to say, don't spoil, because it's now a television show.
I shan't,
so.
But a sad ending. It's not a particularly happy ending. And my little 10-year-old heart couldn't take it, basically. So I rewrote the end so it was happier.
Just for herself.
Just for me. I didn't
On
put it on the
paper.
internet. It was just in a little notebook that I just wrote. So yeah, I was a fangirl before I knew I was a fangirl, basically. But yeah, Potter was the first like fandom that I engaged with, that
Fair
I
enough.
was on the internet for, that I had people on the internet that I talked to about stuff.
And big scary question, what is your favourite fandom?
That's
I don't know why that question is quite so early, because that's when things go horribly wrong.
That's a difficult question. Sorry, now we're reading comments.
We are. You can tell because we both go. Answer my question first, and then you can go back to the comments.
Well, I have a huge amount of affection for any fandom that I'm in, because if I didn't have an affection for the fandom, then I would not be in the fandom. So every fandom that I've been a part of has been there's been at least a corner of it that I've been very fond of.
But what have you been most fond of?
The Merlin fandom was an incredibly kind and supportive and creative fandom to be a part of. Some really, really, really scarily high quality work in that fandom. Just as far as like the fandom works quality generally, I'd have said that Merlin was some of the highest.
I'm very sad that we're not representing in a mug fashion. I'm trying to find a camera now. I have a Malik mug.
And I have a pulp mug, which is not helpful.
You might need to go slightly higher up.
See, look, it's got a little...
Because I think actually all of my
little
Merlin
jar
mugs
or
have been smashed on our kitchen floor.
Yeah, I mean, need to replace some of the Merlin mugs.
But yeah, I would have said Merlin fandom.
But yeah, just like obviously there's like incredible fan works in every fandom.
Yeah, of course.
But I'd have just said that the quality generally overall in the Merlin fandom was just so freaking high, and people were so like thoughtful and creative and interested and interesting,
and still are,
and mostly
it's
nice.
mad.
Like obviously there's always
yeah.
wank. There is just always wank, and always people who are homophobic and racist and horrible, and that's just a part of fandom that we just have to like acknowledge is there and hope we don't encounter too often. But just generally I found that the people were super nice, and it was like in a really good time frame for fandom as well. I think
that's the thing for me. I mean, there's something about the fact that Merlin was obviously weekly live on the BBC, so it has a chance to build up a fandom in a way that a lot of stuff that gets dumped on Netflix now doesn't really. But also like it is absolutely my favorite fandom. Oh, see, suddenly we've gone big, and we have no idea what we're doing here. Our screens just changed, and it was creepy. Lost my train of thought there. Yeah, absolutely my favorite fandom, but also like, and I love the time. Like my favorite isolated moment of fandom is literally the perfect storm of the 2012 Olympics.
Yeah,
and the high quality writing of the Merlin fandom combined with the very quite obvious affinity for sport within the Merlin cast. Beautiful.
Yeah, no, it was
beautiful.
Good. It was good. It was a good time to be alive. Good time to be a fangirl.
Alexander says, sorry, I did that.
How? Magic. Okay. Good.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. Right, I found the buttons.
Oh.
I didn't know that this is this how people are seeing it? We have literally no clue.
Idea. No idea.
Let's move on.
We're talking about Merlin. We look great. Thank you, Kiva. That's very kind.
That is very kind. Thank you very much.
Yes, Juniper, it is a brand new platform. It's a bold new world. Well, yeah, trying a thing.
So far, we are doing exceptionally well.
Top notch.
What do you do in fandom?
I do a podcast. I do podcasts. That's what I do in fandom. So we have a podcast platform called Fascination and Frustration, on which there are 3 different podcasts currently.
On about 400 different shows.
On about 400 different subjects. And that's mostly what I do in fandom these days. Historically, I wrote quite a lot of fic. And I'm also very, very much a better reader. I've always read. I've better read way more than I've written fic in every fandom that I've been a part of. So.
You know what I really miss?
What do you miss?
Fic being beta read.
Yeah, it's a less percentage of.
It's just not a thing anymore, and it's so sad.
Yeah, it is sad. What do you do in fandom, Mish? Apart from our podcast.
Apart from this, apart from failing at technology, so I started off doing the worst manips in the world. I did icons. I had an icon website.
That was a thing.
Live journal icons. It was called 100 Squared.
You could make a little fandom career out of just making icons and wallpapers.
Yeah. I did do wallpapers, but this is literally where me being a design disaster starts, because I've always really liked the idea of graphic design, but I've never actually bothered to learn. So I'm really not very good at it.
She's better than
and
she is.
It means that, the second you have a wallpaper of any size, it's like, oh, well, my pictures are too small and I don't know how to fix it. So icons were always very much up my street because they were teeny tiny.
Yeah.
And I've always done some fan art. I've always done some drawing, though, again, I've never been very good at it. So I've kind of signed up for big bangs and then always felt like, oh my God, I'm so sorry you got me. And yeah.
She's incredibly talented. Don't listen to a word she's saying.
But I quite like podcasting.
I quite love podcasting.
It's quite good.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing 8,000 of them.
Yeah. It's got a little slurry of Sherlock love in the comment section.
Sherlock was so good.
That was a weird fandom.
And then Sherlock got so weird.
Yeah.
And it took 6 years, so you didn't notice?
Well, it's weird.
It took a really long time.
It's weird.
Apparently people are seeing what we are seeing. So for next week, remember that this is a better view.
Okay.
I don't know whether there's a way to just make it full size. I don't know.
Sherlock was amazing until it wasn't. Yeah, that's pretty much.
Moffat is good
much,
at that. That is what Moffat does. I don't think we have a question on that topic, but it's what fandom was ruined the most? I don't think that's in our list, but anything Moffat touches turns to fandom. I mean, that's fair. I think very much because it's very good, but also because it's very bad.
Yeah.
Fascination and frustration.
So I do think that he's hit on content types that are predisposed to fandom. So I think, obviously, Doctor Who had a massive fandom already, so people
That's
just
a self-made one.
Dialing into something that already exists. And I think Sherlock Holmes is something that was ripe for fandom. There was already a bit of a fandom around the Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law version. People were
the movie,
keen enough on the subject matter, I think, so that it's very readily fandomed. Not to do a disservice to Sherlock, which I think was certainly fandomable. Very fandomable. Yeah. I'm not sure any piece of media went as badly as Game of Thrones. Certainly, I'm not sure there's anything else that completely 100% failed to live up to its potential
and made quite so many people angry.
Yeah,
it was the unity of the hate.
It was a screw up on just a really epic scale. It was kind of glorious to watch in a lot of ways.
It was kind of glorious because I really wasn't invested. And I don't think you were, so it didn't really matter to us.
I was always more interested in Game of Thrones as a kind of sociological experiment than anything else. Because the narrative work in that show is all over the freaking place.
Is there a fandom aspect you just don't get?
I don't get the thing where you draw characters.
That was so quick. He's been waiting to talk about this for weeks.
I don't get the thing.
Is it something I did?
No.
Okay.
But it's something that you like. I don't get the thing
it's true, I like it.
Where you draw characters as cats. Where it's here's a little black cat and here's a ginger cat and one of them's wearing a crown and one of them's wearing a neckerchief and everyone's like, oh my God, it's Mel and Arthur. It's no, it's a cat wearing a neckerchief. I just don't get it. I mean, it's harmless. It's like, please feel free to draw cats wearing any element of costume that you like, but it just leaves me completely befuddled.
She does not get it. Just for some visual aid. Again, I'm trying to find our camera here.
Like so. What the hell?
It's clearly Merlin and Arthur. Look at the giant ears on that Merlin cat.
I'm just befuddled. What's an element of fandom that you don't get?
I want to stick with this for a minute. So I was trying to find this now, and this is, there's bazillion of Merlin fan art, and it doesn't come up instantly on Google. But there's a Merlin and Arthur rabbit.
Yeah.
And Arthur's got a little crown and a slight angle, and Merlin's got a little neckerchief, and they are just the most, like, they're delicate and elegant. They're kind of a little bit like the old Winnie the Pooh sketches. And I loved them, and I wanted to get them tattooed, and Ruth wouldn't let me.
I would not let you. You get whatever you want tattooed. I just don't get it.
But that would be the reaction every time she would see it, and then it would make me sad.
It's just, like, they're very cute. They're very cute rabbits.
Yeah.
And, like, if you want a rabbit tattoo, then feel free. By all means. It's your body. You get whatever you want tattooed on it. But But
Ruth doesn't
as far
get
as, like, a fandom expression thing, I just don't understand. I don't understand fan cams. And Juniper very kindly explained fan cams to me. Juniper's in the comment section. And I am absolutely certain that the way Juniper explained this is correct. However, I'm also certain that people are now using fan cams wrong. Basically, the whole point of a fan cam is that it's your own footage. Okay.
That's why it's a fan cam.
Like filming a con or a gig. Or
something. And then, you get like that bit where Muffin and Dario steps out of an elevator and walks down the corridor, and you're there with the mobile phone in his face, and then you stick that together. Yeah, and that makes sense. But that's not what people are doing. Because, like, I literally, last week, I saw a fan cam of, like, Nightcrawler.
Okay.
And that's not that person's footage because he's not real.
True.
So I don't get that.
Reaction videos, that's another thing I don't really get. Reaction videos that aren't, like, a review or a conversation, or you're not really saying anything. It's just somebody watching something and, like, screaming or laughing
or crying.
It's like
I really tried to get them.
It's like, it's different
because there was a lot
if
of
someone's
them
like commentating and they're being quite funny about it. That can be totally a thing that I could get.
Yeah,
but they're just like it's like
I could watch you do that for hours. Sorry, yes. we've been rubbish about comments. I'm assuming everyone is seeing everyone else's comments too.
Yeah, because there was a little conversation.
Well, okay, good. Okay.
Yes. Cool. Juniper, what's SW?
It's like Southwark. I don't know.
Star Wars. Oh, of course. Sorry, that was really stupid. Really slow.
I was in Star Wars, you fool.
You weren't, yeah.
See, yeah, Abigail says, I love reactions, and my favourite is Abnormally Adam. I have spoken to so many people that love reactions to literally go, like, no judgment whatsoever, and nothing.
Like, obviously people like them.
Like,
because they're...
Can you please explain it to me?
Right.
And they have. And it made sense.
Yeah.
And then I tried again, and I just couldn't get it.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. It didn't work for me. It's sad.
Star Wars stores. Yes, thank you, everybody. Yes. Very slow.
He is so rubbish. So, yeah, that's what we don't get. What's an underappreciated...
Better reading.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Even, like, weirdly enough, even more so these days when it's not done anymore.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of fanfic that is posted on the internet with people going, this isn't better read because I couldn't be asked. And that's it. And it's like, that's okay. And it's like, it's not okay. But also, I've spoken to so many, like, I was involved in a couple of big bangs over the last, 3 years.
Yeah.
And there's literally people who are like, oh yeah, they're gonna make me have a beta reader, and like I don't like it.
Yeah.
And fair enough, but like that's such a new fandom thing.
Attitude. Yeah.
It's just not something that we didn't do that when we were young. We wouldn't have gotten away with that.
Back in my day, yes, indeed,
Yeah.
Liz. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I also think, like, just generally the fandom contributions that are behind the scenesy. So, community modding and Big Bang organizing and all of that stuff.
Well, it's just the amount of hours that go into it.
It's so much work. It's so much work to do all of that stuff. And
actually, screen caps.
Yep.
Like people who run screen cap websites as well, which is like, you do not get enough laugh.
All of the things that are like resources rather than content. The people who go around and like source all of the costuming for shows and films and like find the locations and do the screen grab stuff. It's just like all of that stuff that's so important as far as a resource for content creators. That if you write fic or you do fan art or you do like reaction posts to things, all of that stuff is so important.
I think the other thing is also that Jilly is saying that one of our favorite ladies on Tumblr does a Mass Effect screenshot archive, and it's amazing. And it takes her so much time. I think the other thing about underappreciated fandom content is also stuff that basically stuff that you and I could do, stuff that anyone could do.
Yeah.
And therefore you don't appreciate it because anyone can take screen caps. The thing is, you don't.
You don't.
Because it takes a ton of work. And anyone could host a website where you upload all of those screen caps, but you don't. But because, like you look at someone's amazing artwork and there's a lot of people who look at it and go, well, I could never do that. And therefore it has value.
Yes.
And that's not, that's not fair. I think that's where a lot of the underappreciation comes from.
Yeah.
It's like, I could probably location scout. If I had the time and effort, then I could be bothered and someone would pay me to like run around town and look at 400 abandoned warehouses. I could do that, but I don't.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
You.
I ask a question.
You get up the things. You have the things too.
I do have the things too. Okay. What's a fictional world you would like to visit?
I would like to visit for how long?
Week.
Okay, so nothing underwater.
It was like,
5 minutes.
You couldn't visit an underwater place for 5 minutes.
I think I could not die.
What, you could hold your breath for 5 minutes?
Well, no, but like I could, like you could be resuscitated from 5 minutes, whereas like from a week you're dead. You're so dead. Anyway.
I'm trying to think anywhere underwater for more than about 20 seconds.
Let's do it now. No, let's not do it now. Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
There's something like this fairly, like obviously past all the death and destruction. Like just the actual world.
Yeah.
It's,
Middle Earth, you mean?
It's quite normal, but with cool stuff.
Okay.
If I visit, do I get to do stuff? Because like obviously if I get to do stuff, then anything with magic. Maybe. But if I just get to visit, like going to Middle Earth is a little bit like, going to any of the...
See, I think the problem with Middle Earth is that Middle Earth does have like bog standard humans.
No, yeah, but one of those.
So you'd just be one of those.
I already am.
Whereas I think if you went and visited Hogwarts, you can't visit Hogwarts unless you're a witch or a wizard. So I think you'd get to be a witch or a wizard.
I would like that.
For instance.
Yeah. I mean, anything with magic and anything with unicorns, obviously.
Well, that Harry Potter has both those things.
Yeah. The Harry Potter unicorns are a bit weird, though.
Not weird.
I guess we only ever see them dead. Yeah.
But you could do like a unicorn tour, surely. Unicorn walking tour. See them all happy and prancing.
Don't kill them unicorn tour. And that would be so easy to promote. I could do the social media for that. What about you? What are you visiting?
Hogwarts would be cool. It'd be cool to see Hogwarts. I'd like to see demons. So visiting Lyra's world from his Dark Materials would be really cool.
Demons is in their souls,
their soul
not
demons.
the ones that go.
That would be really, really cool. But I wouldn't want to live there on account if they have like a really repressive
church bad world
society. So
yeah, I
be
would
cool.
quite like to visit that just to see what my soul was, and then come
and other
back.
people's. I think just think it's interesting.
Yeah,
Just
but then
learning
you'd have
about
to like
people.
go with friends.
No, just do it.
Just
any
anyone's, any
just like
people.
meeting people and
Any
like
people,
seeing
okay.
how that sort of exhibited itself. Just be fascinating.
What's a fictional home you would like?
I
Other than a hobbit house.
You know me too well. I want a hobbit house. I want a hobbit
Who
hole
wants a hobbit house?
desperately.
Did you ever show our lovely listeners the hobbit house we stayed in on Instagram?
Oh no, I don't think I did. But no, we'll
Okay, Ruth's going to promise this again.
We'll tweet it. I'll tweet it after.
We stayed in a hostel where Ruth booked us basically a hobbit house.
It's really
So
cool.
cute.
It's really
So
cool.
cute.
I think if I can't have a hobbit house,
Can't have a hobbit house.
Serenity.
That's cool. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
What about you?
I appreciate that this is not something that, appeals to the English audience, but I've always quite liked boarding schools and like the idea of them. And I know that they're cruel and they're horrible and children get traumatized and it's bad. I know that. But literally just like the dorm style boarding school thing of Harry Potter, it's kind of cool.
I mean, Hogwarts is obviously really cool.
Yeah.
Living in Hogwarts.
Yeah, but like you only get the
Cool.
home, so all you'd get is the bedrooms with other teenagers.
But presumably,
Obviously, I would hope I wouldn't be bought with the
presumably
teenagers.
you'd get like Gryffindor Tower. That could be
Okay,
a home,
yeah.
couldn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, that'd be quite cool.
You want to have Camelot as a house, Abigail?
I think Abigail's won this round. A fictional world that you wouldn't touch with a 10-foot barge pole.
Like I say that I'd really love to live on Serenity, but firmly on a land kind of like I want the ship that could fly. I have no interest in being anywhere in space. That idea terrifies the ever-loving crap out of me.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know whether we're allowed to swear on this.
I don't know.
Is Alexander still here? He might know. He might know the rules.
We're sorry if we're not allowed to swear.
No one told us. We're very
told
sorry.
But yeah, like anything where I had to live in space. So like the Firefly world or like Star Wars, Star Trek, anything where like
to be fair, like you could live in loads of places in Star Wars without living in space. There's tons of planets where you just that's your life. You don't ever touch space, just like us now. You might be in Star Wars right now for all
but then
we
it's
know.
just lame.
I don't know.
Like, it's just
Some
a
of
world,
them
isn't it?
have alien alpacas.
It's true. But just generally, anywhere I had to live in space would not like that.
Hi, Rachel. We're not really sure how this works either. Like, you're fine.
What about you? Where's somewhere that you would not?
Black Sails.
It's not really a fantasy world, is it? That's just the past. Mitch wouldn't want to live in like 1720.
I'm really bad at history. No, like Game of Thrones is real, Black Sails is fake. I don't know. No, it's just like the boats and the murder and the lack of antibiotics.
Yeah, it doesn't sound fun. I'd like the boats.
Like to be fair, fantasy world. I mean, I do still got to tell me that's just the past too. But what's the thing where they go through the stones?
Outlander.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to live in Outlander.
But that's also just the past.
I know it's just the past, but they go there by magic.
They do.
So it's true though, Liz, isn't it? The boats and the murder and the lack of antibiotics. Like, that's the past.
Yeah.
A show everyone else has watched except you.
Community and Parks and Rec.
I'm watching Community right now for the bazillionth time.
Everybody loves them, and
I've watched like 2 episodes of Parks and Recs, and I don't get it. In the same way I don't get The Office. So I think it's very much that fake documentary style that I can't quite cope with.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Community is hilarious and you should watch it. And it makes me sad. But I understand why you don't. Whereas The Good Place is like the best and you should watch it. And I don't understand why you don't.
Yeah, I haven't watched The Good Place either. Well, I watched an episode of The Good Place.
It's very sad.
And it just didn't agree with me. I'm fussy about comedies. I think it's so anything else.
But it's the best.
Well, The Good Place, I didn't like any of the people.
That's the point.
I didn't want to spend any time.
I'm working on her. Yeah, I do have an ambition to make you watch like at least 5 episodes of The Good Place, just to see how that goes.
What is a show that everyone else watches that you don't get on with?
The West Wing. Honestly, like any of those shows, like like The Good Wife and The Good Fight, and apart from The Good Place, all the other things were good in it. I'm very bad with those shows. But yeah, like The West Wing, there's been so many times when you've watched it and I've kind of walked into the room and, sat down and watched it and gone, oh, it's a really good show, and then just walked back out. I can't.
CJ.
But yeah, and she's awesome. I know that.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
Also, to be fair, for some reason, like Ruth rewatches The West Wing about once every 3 days. And I think 3 times now I've walked in, watched half an hour, and every single time I've walked in just when the president discovers he's got multiple sclerosis. And it's just always felt a little bit on the nose. It's just like, well, I'm just going to leave now. It's like, I don't really want to listen to, you telling me how you're going to die horrifically and everything's going to be awful.
Nobody ever says that, to be fair.
Yeah, but then they get to the point where they carry him up and down the stairs because he can't move. But it's just, it's all a little bit.
No, I understand that.
And a object you would like to have, like the remote control, for example.
Like the remote control?
It's not really. It's like a fantasy object. That is cool. Julie, you should continue watching The Good Place. It's the best. Liz says Sonic Screwdriver.
Classic choice.
It is. My problem with the Sonic Screwdriver, and I'm assuming if I had it, I would understand it. But
yeah,
I've always had a lot of problems with what the Sonic Screwdriver can do. So I think I would spend most of my time just arguing with the Sonic Screwdriver, where the screwdriver would go, I can do this for you. And I'd be like, no, you can't. And you shouldn't be able to. And therefore, no. And then I'd have to go and get a saw. It is magic, I know, but I don't get it.
I would really, really like, if I could, obviously, assuming that I could use it. I think the TARDIS is cheating a little bit, Abby, as far as an object is concerned.
So once again, I think Abigail's won this round.
Obviously, we can have the TARDIS, But no, if I could use it, then a pensive from Harry Potter.
Okay.
Just both in order to
cool.
Preserve memories that are really precious and valuable so you can revisit them, but also to get rid of some of the bad stuff. Yeah. Just
no, that is a pretty cool one.
Put that aside so it's you sort of know it happened but don't really remember it.
Yeah.
Loads of stuff happens in life that it would be better to be able to just curate your memories a little better.
Which, to be fair, that would totally take care of that. Because I was thinking a time turner. Because there's been some times in my life that have been amazing. And I would love to go back to those. But a pensive would totally do that trick. Yeah. So that'd be fine.
Invisibility cloak. Good shout.
That is, yep. That is a good one. A vehicle. Just any vehicle, Liz? Apparently, I don't know. Liz said as part. Julie said that's part of the appeal of the Sonic Screwdriver, and I don't know what the part of the appeal is that you would argue with it.
I think part of the appeal is that you don't really know what it does, and it just it's a little bit Deus Ex Machina screwdriver.
Yeah,
that just does whatever you need it to do at the time that you need.
I mean, to be fair, screwdrivers do a lot of stuff.
Doesn't.
Screwdrivers do a lot of stuff. Like you can use them obviously for screws, but also as chisels. You can use them to open like paint tins. You can use them to stab someone in the throat. Like they are very useful, but I don't think making it sonic would make it magic. Abigail says a broom and also a wand, which totally. Sorry, I was going up to read other stuff rather than because I broke the comment section. The thing with the flying broom, like I would totally want to be able to fly, but like if we're doing that, I want Toothless.
He's not an object.
But we don't have one.
He's
But we don't have a question that goes, "What dragon do you want?" Have.
I would have absolutely.
I'm disappointed that we don't.
I have absolutely no interest in having a broomstick.
It
sounds deathly terrifying.
It sounds so uncomfortable,
especially
so unsafe.
You could fit like a bike seat to it or something.
And like straps.
Yeah.
Just gaffer tape yourself to the broomstick. And there's quite a lot of like uncontrolledness about it. But yeah, I guess what magical beast would you want? I would want Toothless.
Like a magical.
And obviously, I'm right.
Like a magical pet.
Yeah. Well, or just something that's not an object, but awesome.
Mm.
I love that. Juniper asks, does the TARDIS ever go to space? Sorry, I don't Doctor Who. And Doctor Who is a verb. I like it.
I don't know. I don't like the idea of having like a pet that's so intelligent. Also, like, because then I'd worry.
Like the super sentient ones.
Right. It's just like then I'd worry. It's like now I'm keeping you in my house, and do you want to be here? And...
Yeah, but you wouldn't keep Toothless in your house. He would just at the end, Toothless went off, and he just came back every now and again with his adorable little children.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you love something, you have to let it go.
In the end, yeah.
Yeah. What's an underrated show?
Black Sails. I have only one answer to that question. One answer, ever.
My answer has to be that too, because otherwise I'm not allowed to sleep in the house anymore.
Not true. You can answer something else. I've already answered that, so it's been answered that way. It's fine.
And it's fact.
Out there. Can move on now.
Honestly, like I do think Black Sails is underrated. I do agree.
It's so much better than Game of Thrones. It is so unbelievably much better than Game of Thrones. What did you want?
You asked some questions.
Oh, I see.
You've given up on this whole game again.
Liz
says like an indoor-outdoor cat. Yes, that's exactly what he would be.
Mm-hmm.
It's an indoor-outdoor Toothless.
Yeah.
And you don't know, is he going to be indoors? Is he going to be outdoors? It's a bit like Howard.
True.
Is he going to be under the sofa? Is he going to be next to the sofa?
Who knows? Who knows?
Where is Howard?
I think he's under the sofa.
I'm slightly worried that Howard hasn't come out now.
No, he's gone.
Ooh. Have we locked him out? I might just open the door.
Okay.
We may have locked him out.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you. It is better than Game of Thrones. It's also better than Outlander for anybody who watches Outlander. I quite like Outlander, but it's better than Outlander.
Yeah, he's gone. I have no idea where he is. I'm sorry. We don't have a cat for you. We are useless today.
We've lost Howard. An underrated book.
Oh, I would totally have Salem from Sabrina.
But see, he's just...
I mean, no, I wouldn't, because he was a creep and an actual human and also a perv.
Yeah. And he'd have to live in your house.
But new Salem.
Well, Ambrosius from...
He's an actual human.
Yeah. He's the Salem equivalent in the chaotic adventures of...
No, they have a Salem. There's a cat. When he goes through the maze and he catches a thing, he eats a demon, and then they go to that tree where everyone's been hung, the hanging tree.
Yeah. That was a dodgy moment of that series.
No. If you want to know our full feelings about it, we have a podcast on that show. Not just a tree.
I'm sorry, I'm going to deny you on that one, India. You do not want Scabbers as a pet. You don't. You just don't. He was actually an evil man in disguise.
Just like Salem.
Don't believe you.
Who was, in the original Sabrina, a pervy wizard.
At least he was upfront about it, though. Scabbers was just pretended to be just a little.
He was not
rat
about
who
it, though,
liked
was he?
cheese.
Because Sabrina didn't know.
Yeah, but he did
At
talk.
first.
She could have found out if she'd
Oh,
actually listened
creepy.
to any of the things he'd said.
No one wants Aragog. You are all wrong. Okay, the entire comment section is wrong. I think if I knew how, I would delete the comments. Everyone's wrong. No one wants Aragog. Move on. Next question.
What's an underrated book?
I think actually The Last Unicorn. Like, it's an underrated movie also because you won't watch it and many other people I know haven't watched it and that makes them all wrong. But it is quite a well-beloved movie, which means that the book is really underrated and it's really good. What about you? What do you think?
Obviously, there's lots of underrated books. But the one that's springing to mind immediately is the Windsinger trilogy, which is a beautiful, beautiful trilogy of them kind of children's books. They're quite young adult books, which I read when I was about 13 and loved them. They are beautiful and thoughtful and creative and different, and features sort of centrally a pair of twins, a boy and a girl, who go off to save their family, save their people from, and it's creepy and weird and it's just brilliant, and very, very few people have read it.
I have not read it. Now we are going to have to quick fire this Stitch because we are so not going to get through 30 questions otherwise.
Okay, we've got 20 minutes, we can do this.
Pick up your phone. Try and help. Favorite childhood movie?
Actual childhood, Beauty and the Beast.
Never Ending Story.
Favorite childhood TV show?
I have. I'm failing a quick firing. Oh, this is so weird. We're backwards. He is very much based on the Never Ending Story. Favorite what? Sorry?
Childhood TV show.
I actually really liked the Watership Down TV show, which was a hell of a lot less creepy and murder than the movie. What about you?
When I was a very little girl, my favorite TV show was the animated Madeline series. I loved that when I was a little kid. I also was very, very fond of original first edition Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Yeah. Your OTP. This is like ultimate OTP.
I don't really have a...
Oh, Princess Bride. Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Yeah.
Good choices.
Wizards of Waverly Place. Those are some good
choices.
I don't know what Totally Spies is, but that is a childhood moment I miss. OTP.
Buffy and Angel. I love them. They'll have a special place in my heart. I think as far as like a star-crossed lovers, like pure romance thing, they do hold a special place in my heart. It's so tragic and they're so broken, and yeah.
Okay, Juniper's throwing this out to the chat. And everyone choose an ultimate OTP.
Yeah, this is not my ultimate OTP, but like it feels like a kind of original.
Abigail is failing at ultimate OTP. Martha, Malik, Elena, and Damon.
Yeah,
And then she has more.
Yeah.
I think mine is Merlin and Arthur.
Oh.
They're like the best.
They are like the best. But I feel like for me, like Buffy and Angel was so like formative to my building of what I wanted in romance stories. Like as far as the story construction is concerned, and I feel like everything that I've loved afterwards
has been built on that.
Well, it's not been built on it exactly, but has come from a place where that was the first romance that I loved. So it's kind of everything else has followed that. So.
Yeah, fair enough. Favorite trio?
Lots of love for our lovely Lightwood siblings.
Yeah.
Lots of love for them as a trio.
There is the Mortal Instruments for anyone who's not into Shadowhunters.
Lots of love for Buffy and Willow and Xander as a trio. I think they do a really nice like head, heart, and hands thing, which is always good in a trio. Big love for Jack and Max and Anne from Black Sails.
Yeah.
As a trio, just really interesting.
They're a awesome one just because there is pairings in that trio, and watch Black Sails. It's good. We're watching Black Sails right now.
We are.
Not right now, but right after this we'll be watching Black Sails. How do you feel about Harry, Ron, and Hermione? Because they should be, but my head's kind of going yeah. It's like the fork in the garbage disposal.
I have a huge amount of fondness for Hermione as an adult, though when I was reading her as a kid, I always felt a little bit like called out by Hermione. Just there was a sort of slightly
you're such a Hermione,
and like, because
and it was used as an insult when it really shouldn't be. That wasn't the point.
Bullied for reading books at school, you know what I mean? So there was a little bit of a kind of like it was just a bit too close to the bone. But otherwise, she was really the only one of the three who was worth talking to. Yeah. I never liked Ron particularly. Harry was fine because he was the protagonist. It's his story, and that's a thing. But kind of the three of them were my least the thing about the series that I found least interesting. Yeah.
So how do you feel about Remus and Lupin and James?
Not really a trio. I mean, they are three characters who were friends who were grouped together, but
they don't count.
It doesn't count the same way.
Okay. Quick fire. We fail a quick fire.
Oh no, I lost my questions.
Favorite female character ever.
Buffy Summers.
Aww.
What's your favorite female character ever?
I mean, I'm not sure it counts because obviously she was a unicorn, but I do like Amalthea and The Last Unicorn did very much. Like that was my childhood. And she rocked, but also she rocked. And God, I'm trying to remember the name of the other female character in The Last Unicorn.
I cannot help you.
Who was the best, because you will not watch this movie and it's so sad. Chat, Molly Gruth, thank you, Jilly. Oh my God, thank you. I knew Jilly was going to come to my rescue. Molly Gruth, like the best. So good, so good. And I cry every time. She rails against when the unicorn comes to her, she rails against her. How dare she come to her now that she's this, now that she's a grown-up, because the unicorn only comes to young girls. And how dare she come to her now that she's this. It's just, it's so good. Move on. So good.
Favorite male character is the obvious
follow-up
question.
Magnus Bane. I mean, Ask Me Tomorrow is going to be someone else, but right now I'm very fond of him.
Oh God.
Magnus Bane without his goatee, because there was a complete lack of shaved Magnus Bane love on Twitter the other day.
You mean in GIF form? just
no, there was like kind of which one of these, like they didn't quite vote on it, but they almost voted on it. And every single person was like goatee Magnus, goatee Magnus, goatee Magnus. And
I'd have said he was the superior Magnus.
Yeah, I would say so too, but now he's not, because that's not fair. And therefore, he's the underdog. Shaved Magnus is underdog Magnus. What about you?
It's very difficult. I feel like because like Buffy Summers was like that's building blocks of my life kind of stuff, and I don't have a male character who's like that, so I just get loads of male characters that I love a lot.
Like.
Alec Lightwood, Jack Rackham, Malcolm Reynolds.
Oh, he's so good.
He's so good.
Wash.
I've
Zoe.
There's all of those. Arthur Pendragon is occupying a lot of love in my heart at the moment. I've been thinking a lot about Arthur recently and feeling a lot of love for him.
Also, Bradley James.
Also Bradley James. Yeah.
Favorite male character.
Male character. So yeah, it's less straightforward. Favorite friendship.
Merlin and Arthur.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah.
As Aiden, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in Black Sails, but I still feel very new to Black Sails. So Merlin and Arthur. But I want to say Magnus, but it's probably Jace for me. Fair enough.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that about
Jace.
Like I always kind of think, oh, but Magnus, oh, but Jace, and then I was like, no, Alex, my favorite. There's no point pretending otherwise.
Favorite friendship
for me,
yeah.
Merlin and Arthur is very much up there. A big love for Alec and Jace as a relationship in fiction. I think they do something really special.
Alex the tall one,
at least in principle, if not
Jace
always,
is not
if not always in practice.
Yes. Favorite villain ever. I think the Master is pretty like
the Master's pretty good.
The quintessential awesome old school.
Yeah. And Ursula from The Little Mermaid. She's pretty freaking good.
Absolutely. I was literally just thinking, like, and what about, like, actually... Because the Master was awesome, but I was never actually scared of him. Whereas Ursula scared the bejesus out of me.
Loki, Glory, Daleks. Just
Daleks are... Yeah. Daleks are scary in a way that Cybermen aren't. Like, obviously, they would both kill me instantly. But
I find the Cybermen creepier. I find the Cybermen premise creepier.
The concept of it is creepier, but the actual, final Cybermen...
They look stupid.
Because most of the time, like, they invade somewhere and the people don't know what they are, and it's only when it is explained to them, they all go, oh my god, that's the most dramatic. But, like, up to that point, they just didn't... Kind of done.
Yeah. The Wicked Witch of the West. She was freaking awesome. As far as, like, a fictional villain is concerned, that's freaking awesome.
Saddest
iconic.
Death.
The one that springs to my mind immediately is Topher Brink.
Oh god.
Also,
he would also go into the box of favorite male characters. He's their best. So this is Dollhouse.
From Dollhouse, yeah. Also
Joss
Wash, just for other
spoilers.
Deaths. That one got me bawling on the floor for many, many, many moons.
Yep, King Haggard from The Last Unicorn. He scared me
for a
so
villain,
much.
not for a death.
Not for a death,
like,
sorry.
He dies?
He does die, but like we all cheer when he does.
Yeah.
But good. Also, General Wandsworth? Woundwort?
From Warship Down.
The rabbit, yes.
We've moved on.
Terrifying. Sorry, we moved back. But
to villain.
So scary. So scary. Sorry, back to death.
This is very, very alarming, this quickfire thing.
It's because it's a mess.
What's your saddest death? From Wash, there's others, but those are the ones that spring to mind immediately.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm pretty good with those.
Mrs. Landingham from The West Wing. That's gutting. When she dies,
like the most traumatic. This is a kind of again back to childhood, but when the animals of Farthing Wood cross the motorway, and the hedgehog refuses to unball because he doesn't know any better.
Hit me in my childhood trauma, why don't you?
That was brutal.
Spoil away. I think we have to just not. We're talking fandom generally.
So, well, yeah. Merlin
in
death,
fandom, and I've just spoiled the end of Serenity. So,
fandom death for Merlin. I think we all know. If we know, we all know. And that was bad. But not as bad as the hedgehog.
Yeah.
He was so flat.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, it was really
so flat.
Best ending.
I'm so sorry. Very quickly. It makes me so happy.
We've got 6 minutes.
I know, and it makes up a little bit of that trauma. The little video of the crow that helped the hedgehog cross the road.
Yes, that was pretty good.
That was good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Best ending.
Best ending of a thing ever. I really loved the Buffy ending. Buffy took a little bit of a dip in quality, and then I think it just I loved the ending.
The ending's really, really good.
So good.
The ending of Angels also really, really strong. I just think that's so ballsy the way they ended that show.
And I agree. I want to do Dragon too.
Yeah.
I want to fight the dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think that the ending of Black Sails is pretty much perfect.
I really like what they did with Serenity.
Yeah.
I think that, fair dues for trying, and I think you pulled it off. Favorite siblings? Lightwood siblings, absolutely. Absolutely. Favorite kick-ass character?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Willow.
Nice. See, I don't like her as much when she becomes kick-ass. That's kind of my problem.
Yeah, no, I get that, but she is really kick-ass. Yep. A character who deserved better.
Oh.
4 minutes, Ruth.
I know.
Like 8 more questions.
Cordelia, yes. Rachel, Cordelia Chase deserved better. That is my answer. You are correct.
Points for you. Abigail, controversially, Merlin. And I think both Merlin and Arthur deserve better.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Yep. Best character development.
Topher Brink.
Oh, I love Topher Brink.
Yeah.
He's just the best.
It is the best arc. It's just the best arc, and you don't even know it's happening until it's already happened, and then it happens. You're like, shit, yes, that's what was happening all along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful work.
Favorite fanfic trope.
Coffee shop.
That's a genre though?
Is that a genre? Okay. A favorite fanfic trope. I don't know. What's your favorite fanfic trope? I don't know. What's a trope? I like it when they turn into animals. Is that a trope?
I think platonic bed sharing. That's way up there for me.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, there is only one bed. Totally.
Favorite.
If there's only one bed in a coffee shop,
it's awesome.
Perfect.
Favorite fanfic genre.
Coffee shop.
Hurt comfort.
In a coffee shop.
Anywhere.
In one bed.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
What are your fanfic reading habits?
My fanfic reading habits are atrocious, and I cannot focus. Large fanfics scare me. When I start reading something, I want it to never end, but I don't start the really long ones because they are really long and the worst. And then I panic and I look at my 400 open tabs and I decide to go and read There Aren't Any Gays in Football again because it doesn't scare me because I know it's amazing. Mm-hmm. So I suck. Mm-hmm. What about you?
The longer the better. I'm vicious with fanfic reading. I will give up on something after a paragraph if it has not caught my attention or if the prose isn't up to my relatively exacting standards.
Whereas I don't read anything ever, and then I will spend like 3 days reading the worst story in the world, and Ruth will tell me about every 5 minutes to just...
Life's too short.
Yeah.
Life's too short. There's too much fic. There's too much really good fic to read.
No. What do you think makes fandom so great? We made it.
We did.
We made it the end of the list.
We've got 2 whole minutes.
We've got 1 minute
as well. Okay, 1 minute. I think fandom is great because it brings people who love stuff together to talk about stuff, and that sounds really generic and obvious, but passionate people, and we love things in a way that maybe isn't normal, isn't like air quotes normal,
isn't accepted,
right? And I think having a space where you can talk to people about the things you love with the amount of like care and attention and value that people in fandom talk about the things they love is really precious.
Mm-hmm.
And like just fundamentally getting a community of people together talking about a thing that they love, rather than getting a community of people together because they have to be in a certain place, or they happen to go to the same school or work for the same company or whatever else brings people together, I think is just really valuable and important.
What she said. I like that. I also just think like a space where people can create, and there is something about, there's a little bit shooting fish in a barrel about fandom, where you create something and just by the sheer premise of it being part of a fandom that other people already love, it finds an audience.
Yeah.
And that helps you like create and connect and improve. And I think that's a really
really cool.
nice thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Look
we're
at
at
us
time. We did
finishing this on
Get
the
us.
and we also managed to high five without slapping each other in the face.
We're so
Wow.
cool. We're so good at stuff.
Well, that was slightly stressful, but I
got
hope
there in the
people
end.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And if you're enjoying Fandom Friday, it continues for at least the next 2 hours.
Some more hours.
Possibly
We're not
longer.
Sure how many of them, but some
Next
more hours.
up, if I assume you can click on the Fandom Friday hashtag.
Yes.
I hope that's correct.
Yes.
I hope.
Yes.
I
That
think
seems to be how it
maybe.
works.
But next up is Best Darn Diddley, which is a podcast about The Simpsons.
Doing every episode of The Simpsons.
Yeah. And they're
Exciting
up,
times.
I assume, starting now, or possibly started a minute ago because we're still talking.
Probably.
So
starting next
we
week.
will
Probably.
hopefully see you next week.
Yeah. What are we talking about next week?
Shadowhunters.
Shadowhunters next week.
Yes.
30 questions on Shadowhunters.
Hopefully with the same precision as we did this just now.
Yeah, we're totally on it.
Thank you so much
coming,
for joining
everybody.
us.
Yeah, and you can find us at fascinationandfrustration.com if you want more of us doing stuff.
Check out Liz. Liz with a link to the next show.
Get you! Shiny.
On it.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Bye-bye. I was going to